Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Parsha Toldoth, Secondhand Sin Part 2. We discussed in the previous year that Aisav, he hated the Bechorah after he sold it. Rabbi writes that is because he needed to make peace with it. Instead of realizing it, what a crazy thing he did, an absolutely irrational act that he was involved in because of his taivas. He was hungry, he convinced himself he's going to die, and therefore there's no need to hold on to the Bechorah. So he had a path, either to recognize what a ridiculous thing he did or to go ahead. Another path was to just say, oh, this whole thing was nonsense anyway. I'm calling this secondhand sin. I think there's so many examples of this, and it happens all the time in our own lives. We have to be on guard for it. A young teenager, he doesn't like to get up. It's hard for him to get up, so he doesn't get up for minyan. He doesn't get up at 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11. So what is he doing? So the taifa of sleeping in is taking over. He's not doing a great job. He davens when he gets up. He's not against davening. But if he goes ahead and starts saying, oh, davening in the morning, minyan, it's silly, it's unnecessary, that's a whole new sin. It's a whole new aveira. He doesn't need to go that way. He doesn't need to go the first way either, but unfortunately that's where he's at right now, where right now his taivas of sleeping in are very powerful. He doesn't despise minyan. It's not for yivez et minyan. It's just he's tired. He's a teenager and his body's working a certain way, his mind's working a certain way. But to go the next step, the minyan is silly, it's this, that's wrong. He has to contain it. An example, another one, I remember once someone having a tough time with puravu, and the mikvah, the timing of the mikvah and the tarat mishpacha was affecting when the chance of becoming pregnant because of the 5 days and the 7 days of the waiting. So that was affecting the possibility of becoming pregnant. So it's very, very sad. And of course, you have to go to Machon Puah and try to work it through and figure out halachically and medically how to deal with it. I remember the question of like, why is this? Why are they so machmir and so stringent? Doesn't give anyone a chance to have a family. And that's, of course, where is that from? Upset that things aren't working out. Of course, that's a painful situation. But the secondhand sin is to going ahead and going in a different direction. And just, besides being sad at the situation, justifying or questioning or challenging the Rabbanan and the system of Torah and mitzvot and Torah mishpacha. A person cannot go in such a way. Another case, person at work doesn't come on time. The boss is saying, come on, let's go, we got to be on time. You have to come, be on time, whether it's the classes, shiurim, it's an accountant, lawyer, whatever the case may be. And the person has a tough time. He's not organized. He's not careful about his own timing in life, whatever it may be. So there's tension. They have to be able to somehow keep that tension localized to that specific area of coming on time to work. But that could go ahead and say, well, my boss, just like he's crazy in this area, so to A, B, C, D. And that's really what I call secondhand sin, where we don't contain the specific issue and deal with the issue as is, but instead, one issue just leads to another one in order to justify the previous issue. This is one of the points that we learned from Aisav's mistake, that he sold it because of taiva, but then he was involved in horrible, horrible thoughts. And it didn't have to happen that way, but often that's secondhand sin. We do one sin, and then in order to justify that case, we go ahead and we go in a totally different, unnecessary direction. And I think if we realize there's such a phenomena, there's much more of a chance that we could contain it. Shalom.